Now since Bismah is there with a child, obviously somebody has to shake up the system. Bismah Maroof and Pakistan Cricket Board have been that game changers or have shown the way forward. Being a female sports person, your life as a sports person is obviously limited. The shelf life is shorter than male sports people. Taking this cue, a lot of countries will allow or maybe create a policy or a window like this to happen.
Anjum Chopra, ma'am, thank you so much for taking time out to speak to me. You're, of course, part of the broadcast team at the 2022 ICC Women's ODI World Cup. Which Indian player, I'm just going to start by asking you, which Indian player has impressed you the most in the campaign so far?
Pooja Vastrakar. To be honest, I think she's impressed me the most. I've always felt that she's been talented from the very first time that I saw her make her debut for India, and from there on till today. So it's a nice thing to see that a player of her caliber has come good in her first 50 over World Cup. So it's a heartening sign.
Lots of pressure on Smriti Mandhana, Harmanpreet Kaur after the first few matches. They were first, the big batters in the team along with Mithali, of course. But, both of them coming through in that one match against West Indies, just watching that from the sidelines, two players scoring centuries, India winning against the West Indies that were unbeaten in the tournament before that. How amazing was that to watch?
Look, I think that game was very important for India to make an impact and of course win. Smriti Mandhana, to say that apart from that 100, has struggled to get going in the manner in which she's very fluent as a batter. So she hasn't found that fluency right since the start of this World Cup, or probably let's say since the time that the series against New Zealand was happening in Queenstown. So that was a heartening sign to see her coming into some sort of touch and form. For Harmanpreet Kaur, everyone has been saying that she hasn't scored anything. She hasn't done well enough to retain her place in this Indian team and be a vice captain, blah, blah. So questions getting raised on her on her credentials as well. So I thought that was a lovely way to answer those critics. The manner in which they both constructed the innings, as I said, was running it between ones and twos and threes, getting in, and then the boundaries as well. And the late flurry, which probably the Indian team has missed over the past few years, is having that late flurry going through. So it was a nice and a heartening sign. And to say that the two batters are there, controlling this batting order for the Indian team won't be wrong.
We've seen two Indian bowlers actually so far. They're the ones, I think, 10 wickets are the highest taken by any players in the tournament so far. And there's two of them, Pooja Vastrakar, and there's, of course, also Sneh Rana. When we started the campaign, did you think these two would emerge as, the key sort of wicket-taking bowlers for India?
No, not at all. Sneh Rana, I felt that she will be a player where Indian team will be turning and looking at, because she's got the experience. She's come through the hard way as well, come back into the Indian team. And when you look at her, because I've seen that journey of hers, while I was playing, she was around. She's played, like we've played on the same team as well in the North Zone. So I've seen her journey. And once she went out of the Indian team, had injuries, come back after braving it through, even in her personal life. So I had no doubts that when she comes back into this Indian team, she will really make it count, and she has done that.
With the Pakistan team, we've seen that captain Bismah Maroof, she's traveling with her 8-month-old daughter. All of it has been made extremely possible by the Pakistan Cricket Board, and one must admit, they have made provisions for a maternity policy, for a paternity leave as well. They give female cricketers a year away, fully paid, and then you get a contract extension when you do join back. Miss Bismah's also got her mother traveling with her for the World Cup. The cost is borne halfway by Bismah and the PCB, and she returns as the captain. She was handed back the captaincy in her first tournament after her maternity leave. So all of that was made possible by a board that is obviously extremely supportive. When you translate, when you look at, the Indian side of things, we don't really have a policy as such for men or for women. We've seen, Virat Kohli trolled excessively when he took paternity leave a couple of years back. So, these are just small things that a board can possibly make possible for their players, but we haven't really seen that move from the BCCI. So as a former player yourself, do you feel that, that this is the bare minimum a board can possibly do?
I don't say it's a bare minimum. I think it's somewhere down the line will have to emerge globally as well. So for Pakistan to create a provision like this, and for players to be acceptable, going out, having a child come back in and be given the same responsibility and the same stature that they had before they left for having a family or doing anything other than being on the park. I guess that's the way forward for the game. And for the women's game, it's a great example. So I don't think that that's the only thing which is missing. That it's one of the things, because being a female sports person, your life as a sports person is obviously limited. The shelf life is shorter than male sports people. But if you're good and your cricket board and your country and the people around you value you in that manner, obviously it's going to be the key forward. Because I won't be disappointed that BCCI hasn't done this, because before a policy like this for a female player comes in, I think a lot of other things are of importance, such as getting more matches, getting more players to become professionals, getting them, getting corporates to give them jobs, or maybe opening up the pool a bit more to have more people join in whichever capacity, more players to come in and start playing the sport. So there are various other areas as well that need to be touched upon simultaneously. If this policy comes through, I'm sure things can get better, and the way forward is becoming even more easier for the players.
In your time with your teammates now, you sort of as a mentor for younger cricketers coming up, have you ever had conversations with any cricketer who's wanted to start a family but didn't know what effect it would have on her game, or just on her physically to be able to come back? Have there been players who have had these doubts, and could those players just be encouraged a little if we did actually have a certain maternity policy in place, so they at least know their comeback phase is sort of taken care of? Now they just need to figure out if they want, if that's what they want to personally do.
No, never. I think while right through my playing days, we never had this kind of a conversation to even think. So when I made my debut, or till the time that I finished playing cricket, I don't think any time we ever had a discussion or a thought process going through in the dressing room that how does this work? Because, and even today, now since Bismah is there with a child, obviously somebody has to shake up the system, or or be that game changer. Probably Bismah Maroof and Pakistan Cricket Board have been that game changers or have shown the way forward. And I'm sure taking this cue, a lot of countries will allow or maybe create a policy or a window like this to happen. To say that the players ever thought about it, no, I don't think so. Because, forget the sports part. Even in a corporate world, if you have an addition in the family, or when you want to start a family, there are always questions whether you'll be able to retain your job. Can you go back to work? What is the time frame? And as I say, everything will become better and develop further as the teams start getting better and the game becomes better and becomes more popular. There'll be more female centric, more female oriented policies coming through, more convenient and comfortable policies coming through to go in and out of a profession. And the way forward has to be like that. There can't be a change to that at all.